Hi, Stuart. It's Paula. I had a question about clearing the energy of your space, like in a room.
Hey, can everybody please sit up and do the meditation while the question and answers? If people are moving and fidgeting, it disrupts the whole energy of the meditation class. Uh, yeah, go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I wanted to ask your thoughts on clearing the energy in a room. Some people use sage or bells or other modalities, and I just wondered, could you share your thoughts on that, clearing energy in a room?
Well, you can use all kinds of incense to do that. Mostly energy in a room will clear if you clear the chaos in yourself. If you really get centered inside, you really have a quiet mind, your heart is open, that in itself will give you a whole different perspective of the way you're looking out at what's going on in a room. And the room will no longer be intimidating. Yeah, there could even be negative energies from people, but your system will be strong enough to transform those energies and they will really help you grow spiritually. It's just energy. And it just depends upon how we see it and how developed we are inside ourselves. I know people use incense, they use all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm not adverse to that, although I haven't done it in really a long time. But at the same time, I know very profoundly from my own life and my own experience, if you clear up the chaos inside yourself, you will be able to absorb somebody else's negative energy and transform it into energy that will open areas of Kundalini for you. And the whole energy of the room will clear itself for you. Maybe not for everyone else, but for you, it will clear itself. It'll also teach you how to work with the tensions that come out of other people. If light incense, unless people are meditating, it doesn't clear the room if you're at a cocktail party. But if you build that system in yourself, it doesn't matter what people are doing. I mean, as long as they're not violent and doing crazy stuff, but it doesn't matter what they're projecting, what they're talking about, what you can take it inside and burn it up. And it won't affect you in any way. In fact, it's just energy. You can use it to grow inside yourself. I mean, that's what I suggest. That's what these classes are for, to build that kind of system. Because, a spiritual life doesn't end when this meditation class is over with. Spiritual life is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, one way or another, we are going to be tested.
That's true.
Have we built that kind of system that I'm talking about? Can we I mean, look, I have a story I told 862,000 times, and it really relates to this, where somebody was very angry at me. I mean, I won't go through the whole story. He was very angry at me, screaming at me, yelling at me. And I was in Big Indian and I was there for 20 minutes. I had done 300,000 things wrong. And he was the kind of the ashram manager at the time. And instead of being angry at him and fighting with him and trying to prove to him I was right, I just stood there and I just let all of his energy come inside me. I drew it into the chakra below the navel, transformed it into chi, let it go through my section to the base of the spine. And after 20 minutes of virtually telling me I did 800,000 things wrong, very upset at me, angry. I mean, he just looked at me and he started getting tears in his eyes. He started crying. And he gave me a big hug and he said, "Thank you." I mean, it was just not dumping and understanding the guy has tension, he has this. being strong enough not to have to, make matters worse by fighting with somebody who is in a pretty sad state as it is. So what I'm talking, that's to me the best way to clear the room. There are others, as they say, incense, and people do all that. They chant mantras, also clears a room and gets everybody stoned. But but to me, the single most intelligent and incredible way to be able to enable us to be in a room with other people's tension is to build a system inside ourselves, a chakra system that can transform the tension in the environment into a spiritual life. And this is a very incredible way, because then you recognize everything is sacred. Even the negative energy is sacred. God is around us in everything we do, teaching us all the time how to grow. So, up until you build that kind of system, yes, if you want to use incense, you want to use, chant your brains out. And I remember I was sitting with Rudy after Muktananda left New York, and and I was sitting with Rudy. Everybody, he made everybody. Muktananda made everyone in the ashram stop doing the double breathing exercise, start chanting. I mean, the whole ashram changed for about 3 months, and then Rudy went back to it again. And I'll never forget sitting there with Rudy in his living room there, and class was going to begin in 2 minutes. And there must have been 25, 30 people downstairs chanting Om Namah Shivaya. So I said, Rudy, it's 7:00. We have to go to class. He said, let the fanatics finish chanting. Never forget that, as long as I live. My teacher told me, let the fanatics finish chanting. Then he would go down to the meditation room. He had this big gong and a Japanese gong there, and he hit the gong and the chanting would stop. And we would go into a class. I mean, it was, really had a sense of humor. I mean, he thought it was all bullshit, Do your inner work. Do your inner work. I remember I was walking on the campus of SMU in Dallas with Rudy, and he told me something I'll never forget. He said, I would rather smoke dope than chant. Because Muktananda was making everybody chant. And he said, and I realized, you chant, you kind of get stoned when you chant. But when you leave the meditation hall, it all just dissipates and goes away, And I realized it's so profound to recognize that if you want to deal with all of the stuff that goes on in life, you have to build a system inside that is strong enough to do it. You have to learn to use your mind properly, your breath properly. You have to work to develop a chakra system. And this isn't easy. And a lot of people would rather, just mellow out in chanting and incense and stuff like rituals, all kinds of rituals, than learn how to truly build that kind of system inside themselves. And it takes time. I mean, I'm writing, Tantra number 38. I mean, it's really amazing. This stuff is just coming out of me. And this one is about, people want, they find Rudra meditation too difficult. They want something easier. And this is really true. I've met so many people that it was too difficult for them. And I said, the only thing that's easy in the world, what? McDonald's, fast food. I mean, if you want to be a gourmet cook, you got to learn about food. You got to learn about how to prepare food, seasonings. You have to become a master at it. It takes years to become a gourmet cook. If you want to learn how to master yourself, it's a lifetime's work. It's literally a lifetime's work. And there's no easy path except confronting the demon self, yourself. That is really the only obstruction between anybody and a spiritual life. Anybody. So if you want to walk into a room and clear the energy and deal with other people's tensions. Build a system inside yourself that can do it.
Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, I want to be honest with people. I don't want to, jerk people around with spiritual this and that. I mean, what's real? And life has so much tension. People can't leave the ashram, you understand? Because of all the tension in the world. They come out of church and they're fighting with each other in 10 minutes, Same thing in synagogues. You come out of and everybody, and that system is not built inside. And and every religion has it. Every single religion has that whole thing of developing an inner life that is strong enough to truly recognize the sacred nature of God in everything we do on the earth. Every religion has that. You go back to the earliest mystical Christian, religious people, it was all about that. I mean, in one of my tantric things, I found this extraordinary Kabbalistic painting. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And that's going to be one of my museum things that I'm putting in there. Museum of art. Because it's truly in every religion. This. A lot of people have forgotten how to do it. Rudy devised a meditation technique that goes back 500,000 years. And the practice of it. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, Terry.
Thank you so much for these classes. It's really saving my life today and every day. But can you talk about opening in the throat? Um, is it part of just opening the heart and being centered?
It's opening the heart. There's a little exercise in the exercise where you take a breath into the heart chakra, you swallow some saliva in the throat. That'll help to open the throat chakra. But the reason the throat chakra doesn't completely open is because the heart isn't completely open.
Hmm.
If the heart is completely open, all that tension in the head and the throat, it's all going to flow right down into the hara, and it'll build chi inside you. So the secret to opening the throat chakra is gratitude.
Hmm.
Having profound and deep gratitude for your life. That will open not only the heart, but all that tension here, and it all has room to flow down. And it really goes into the third chakra, right below the navel, transforms itself into chi, and it becomes the core balance and foundation inside a human being. And I say it all the time, what's killing you begins to give you life if you practice the exercise properly. And all it is, it's so simple. It's gratitude. Just being grateful for your life, grateful for what's in your life. It just eases the heart. It gets rid of the tension. And then a simple breath into the heart center will expand the heart center. And all that tension will flow down.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good to see you in class, Derek. It really is. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? So don't complain about the world. Get stronger and there'll be nothing to complain about. Build your connection with God and there'll be simply nothing. Everything is really a manifestation of higher energy. And the worst shit that goes on this planet, this non-madness going on in the Ukraine, is teaching the entire world a lesson. All of nature that's going on now, the crazy stuff in California and I mean, in Mississippi, and it's all, teaching people a lesson. And the thing is, it takes so long for people to learn. Nature's finally saying, I've had enough. It's enough. This is the results of all the stuff you do to nature. I mean, all these people in Mississippi and, California. I mean, it's just horrible. So my answer to all of this stuff is people have to change. How are they going to change? They have to learn how to work on themselves. I think it's the reason why there's 1,000 years of reincarnation before you finally knock on the door of God, learning how to change. 1,000 lifetimes of reincarnation give you the privilege of knocking on God's door. You have learned how to change finally. Get strong enough inside yourself to recognize the sacred nature of life. Now, hopefully all of us don't have to go through 1,000 lifetimes of this stuff. But if we do the work on ourselves, we don't go through that. It can be done in one lifetime. Or I should say one last lifetime. Well, they cover your lifetimes. Does anyone else have a question they would like? Okay, there will be class tomorrow evening. I'm hoping to see everybody. God bless you all. And have a wonderful evening. And I always say thank you. You all making it possible for me to get closer to God. So God bless you all for being in a very wonderful way, my teacher, demanding of me to really grow spiritually. I have a lot of gratitude. Bless you all. And hopefully I'll see everybody tomorrow. Bless you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Stuart.
so much, Stuart. Good night.
Good night.